Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Getting Creative With, the show where AADL staff gets creative with an arbitrarily chosen topic by me. And this week's theme is glue. Today we have with us Aurora, Christopher, Heidi, Mckenzie, and me, Xenia. And you guys, glue guns, glue sticks, paste, glue, I don't know, tacky glue. It comes in so many forms. What do you got this week? Aurora, I believe you are first. Why don't you hit us with it?
So I thought about what type of glue to use. And I thought about, maybe Elmer's glue, maybe what kind of glue I should use for the challenge. And I thought about it because the last project I did the birdhouse, so I want to stay within the nature kind of theme. So I made a hot glue crystal geo.
Oh, cool.
So use the hot glue stick, which is normally this, and you cut it into little crystal tiny shapes, various. There's bigger one and there's really, really tiny one. And then you cut it ahead of what you need, and then you have to drop some glue, hot glue, into a paper bowl kind of cups or whatever to get this shape, so that you could glue some of those hot glue crystal that you cut up to put it in. And then after that, you see a slightly tin of blue. So it was recommended that you put a tin of colors on the bottom before you glue it, so that you could get a kind of colors on your crystal. And then after you do that, you could paint the bottoms, darker colors, so that the colors show through. And then you could also add some glitter to make a little bit shiny on the top. So that's what I did for the challenge for this project.
So beautiful. What did you tint it with? Like
What's that?
What did you tint it with? What color?
I tinted blue. I use the magic markers.
Oh, no kidding.
No, yeah.
That's so cool.
And then some site I read that they recommend that you put some clear nail polish to make it shiny. I didn't have that, but I think it looks fine without it.
Yeah.
No, it looks so cool. Like I saw that idea, and it's so cool to see yours, because it's like you see stuff on the internet and then you go and you make it, it doesn't come out like that at all. But yours is like you did it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really fun.
That's so creative, Aurora.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
So someone mentioned that you could even hang it to wear, or hang it as an ornament for Christmas time or whatever. So it's something that you could, use.
Yeah.
Other than that, I thought it'd be neat to just hide it and someone find it on the ground. That was.
Especially, Aurora, if you made two halves.
Yes, I always want to do that, but I haven't gotten that far. So.
Wow.
What is the little vessel made from? The little cup shape?
I actually cut a cup and make it like opening on the bottom, and then I tape some paper. So because I couldn't find any bowl that the size, and it don't have to be naturally round, but it just kind of little roundish. So yeah, then I put the hot glue around on the paper so that it's easy to peel off. Oh, parchment paper, that's what it was, to hold it, so that I could peel it off and use that.
Oh, cool. So it's made entirely of glue. You just use the paper as a template for
Yep.
like a mold?
Yeah,
okay.
to hold it so that I could shape.
Oh my gosh.
And then did you paint the outside with something that looks sort of metallic a little bit?
Yeah, some site they said just paint it black, but I think that personally for me, I want more light reflected back out. So I actually glue a piece of foil
Oh,
and paint it, because then it gives more reflection when the lights go through and bounce it
Right.
off. Because I find that if I paint it all solid black, the color doesn't really show through for me. So that's why I did. And then I paint the foil.
nice.
Right. Wow.
Beautiful. My gosh.
Hmm.
Quality.
Thank you.
Cool. Would you ever do like a bigger one? I'm imagining like those really, really huge, like giant amethyst geodes I see at mineral stores all the time that I would love to have in my future house one day that costs like, $9,000.
Right.
Do you see any of those like made in bigger proportions with glue sticks?
But see, this is the regular one. I mean, there is a bigger one, but I never see a huge giant one, because you actually use this to cut it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have to see if there's any supply that make huge glue stick. And I don't know if you pay attention. There is one in the middle that is kind of more solid color, because I was playing with. I didn't know if there's variation with the solid color or clear, but I end up liking a variation of it, so I just put two types in there too. So
Nice. All right. Well,
Wow.
thank you for that. That's gorgeous.
thank you.
All right, Christopher, you are up next. How did you get creative with glue?
Well, that's a hard act to follow. But I had an idea years ago. My daughter made me a rainbow loom band with this flower on it. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's just made out of hot glue. And so I just thought I'd get creative with that. And they're not that lovely looking, but I just used parchment paper and a glue gun and nail polish. And I played around to make a flower.
Oh,
I like this one more. I made a butterfly,
Yeah.
and I just used highlighter and paper, and then the hot glue just to make that. So it's pretty simple. It wasn't a dress made out of leaves like I did, or so. But it was a lot of fun. And even though this was simple, it was still using materials that I'd never used before. Nail polish. I'd actually really never used a glue gun, and I found one in the basement. So it was fun.
cool.
So
straightforward this time.
So was the paper the base and you peeled the glue off of it with the shape, or is there a piece of paper in there?
So originally I did the butterfly on parchment paper, but one thing I learned is that hot glue will take up any pencil marks. So next time I won't make huge pencil marks, because the glue just peels it up just like silly putty. So I put it on parchment, and then I colored in this piece of white paper, and then put the glue on top of that and re-glued it.
Okay.
So even though it's simple looking, it actually involved a lot more steps and a lot more learning.
So with having the glue set, did you have to cut off excess glue after you sort of drew it on the paper, or like how did it come down on the paper? Did you draw the butterfly shape already with the glue gun, or did you have to trim it at all?
No, so I just drew the butterfly shape. Even that was a challenge. The first time I drew it, it looked like a bat holding up two bed sheets. So I got the shape drawn, and then I just traced the outline of the butterfly, and the glue gun worked pretty well. Not great, but okay. Yeah. And then I just peeled it up, and it came up just as the outline of the butterfly. So I had the idea to make a monarch using colored what do we call that?
Cellophane?
Tissue paper.
Oh.
Okay.
Tissue paper.
Yeah, colored tissue paper. and then it looked great in the window because then you could see through it. But I didn't. So I stuck with highlighter.
Cool. So is there a bracelet on which you're going to display these two charms?
I could just re-glue my butterfly right on top of the flower. I'll just stack them up.
There you go. Yeah, it'll be like a charm bracelet.
Right. So it was fun.
I think we have a glue gun somewhere in the basement as well. And there were so many projects that I saw online with ideas for like glue guns, but I just was like, do I want to go and look down there today? So I'm really happy to see you doing hot glue gun projects, because yeah, that was like, I can't find mine. Can't find mine.
Yeah.
Glad to see your creativity with it. All right, Heidi, hello.
Hello.
Hi, and what have you brought for us today?
So this was like a big rabbit hole for me.
Good.
When I initially was, I was excited because I had this glow-in-the-dark glue that I found as a woohoo deal at Kroger. I was like, cool. And I saw something about making like a bouncy ball with like, I think you use borax and hot water and like somehow it forms into a ball. So that was what I was going to do. But then, I don't know, somehow I landed on a bunch of other things. And I went down the glue gun route. So I have a couple things to show. I hope that's okay if I have more than one.
Absolutely. Rabbit holes are the best.
I mean, I just couldn't like stick with one thing. So what I really ended up making was I put glue around this glass vessel. So you put a candle in it, or, you know, it could be a vase, flowers. They call it like a spun glass appearance on a vase. So I just had that. I tried it like on a votive, like a little one first, and then I liked on this bigger one. So I don't know how well the detail shows up, but
we can see it. Yeah.
So like that was like a finished product. But then during that time, I also went down the whole of, and I might actually do this as a program where you can tint glass using Mod Podge and dye. So I tried it out, but my Mod Podge is matte and I feel like it didn't look as good. So I'm gonna get like so I don't have any of those to show because the nice thing was you could clean the glue off of it. You could just like take a knife and kind of like scrape it away from the glass. So I can reuse the vessels that I was experimenting with. So that was fun. But then I saw a video where she was this, what is it? The Frugal Crafter. And she made stencils with hot glue. So kind of similar to what Christopher was doing with hot glue on the parchment. I have this silicone oven liner. It's like really thin. So it's like a nice thin sheet that I can just lay down on the table. And the hot glue doesn't stick to it. So you can place these, you know, I have this one that I did. It's kind of similar to my meditative drawing motifs this is one that I really like. So I kind of did it in a bigger version. And then you lay it on the paper and spray like ink in it. But then I went back through and I put silver ink on it. So then I used it as a stamp. So first I had sprayed it like that. And then the back is really flat because like the top gets textured from, you know, the glue. So anyway, the back is flat. So then I put ink on that and pressed it on the paper. So making stamps and stencils. So I thought, oh, I'll make one that's got like squares so I can, you know, spray that on there and automatically have like these different sections and I can play with drawing or, you know, just, I liked this one. It's very dizzy kind of because I did 2 different applications. So it got that like movement. So.
That's great.
So great. I love it. So playful.
How did you not burn yourself making the candle holder?
I know. I was really impressed. I have a low temperature hot glue gun, number 1. So safety first with that. And I just cut my hand inside it as I was working. The glue does cool and dry pretty quickly, so you can handle it. Yeah, definitely. It's one of the ones from our youth department that I'm borrowing from the library, so it's the low temp. Because I know I've used like the adult ones, Yeah.
Yeah, no. Mine's not low temp.
Yeah, I have definitely, I was trying to do a button craft, I remember once, and putting buttons on with that hot glue, and it would squeeze out of the holes, and I was burning myself all over the place, so.
Yep.
Heidi, I made a flower.
Flower, mine's more like, it reminds me of those cookies, right?
It's amazing.
Keep practicing, Christopher. So anyway,
with glue guns, like, okay, so I'm not entirely sure how the finished product works. Is it water repellent? The like dried hot glue for the most part?
It can act like a sealant.
Yeah.
Okay.
but even on this glass, like, because I had one that I ended up not liking, because I did further experiments, and I was like, this is going wrong. I was able to just cut it away because it doesn't fully stay stuck on glass, at least, which is interesting. So it's like plastic. I don't know what hot glue is made out of. Probably something terrible for the environment, but you know. And it turns out these glue sticks come in colors. Like Aurora, you have the opaque ones.
Yeah.
But like there's ones that are like glitter. They're all colors of the rainbow. I mean, it is just wild to me the things you can do with hot glue, just glue in general.
Yeah, they do come in colors, but this is what I have, just the clear and the opaque one. So
yeah, you could make some really great geodes if you had, like, I don't know, like, yeah, other colors. I mean, your geode's great though. Never mind.
Make other minerals out of other colors. That's what you
Make that amethyst.
There we go. Cool. That's so neat. One more question. What kind of ink did you use for the stamps?
Oh, I just happen to have some block printing ink. So I have a brayer, and so I just kind of like smooth that on there. I did try to make stamps just like gluing designs onto a piece of wood, but it was all lumpy. So I think the way you're supposed to do it is put the design on like a parchment or silicone and then press the wood onto that so that the other surface is flat and it would work better. So I'm still going to try and play with more stamping because I just think it's a really fun way to have like a stamp or a stencil.
And you're not wasting like rubber or silicone if you're carving a stamp or a stencil. You're not like removing a product. You're more just using what you can. So.
Yeah. And just allowing it maybe to be a little more free and kind of sloppy because there's not like the best control with glue gun. It's thick and thin. So, yeah.
They're similar to, my mom has stamps basically that look just like that. They're clear, kind of a plastic. I think they're from Close to My Heart is what they are, brand-wise. That there's a way to make them stick to a clear block.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And next up we have Mckenzie. What did you make with glue? How'd you get creative?
I have two as well. So I'll do the one that's pretty easy to explain. I did this.
Wow.
I think I'm holding it. This is the top, technically.
It's abstract, whatever.
If you can see the bubbles, that's where the crayons I glued to the canvas were. So the crayons fell off as I heated them up with a hairdryer, but the glue stayed and then started turning colors with the crayons. Like, it dyed the glue, the color. So I have this cool art piece.
Wow.
Nice.
So that's really simple. You just glue on crayons or pieces of crayon, and then you melt them.
So pretty. Looks like an acrylic pour, like with the bubbles and everything on there.
And the way you hold the hairdryer, you can angle it and with the wax, and the crayons eventually fall off, and then you have to have a pile on the ground, then take the canvas and smush it onto them, put them back up, and do it again. Okay, and this other one, I have to shake it, is this. It's called a sensory jar. And it's made with glue. It's a mixture of water and glitter glue, and then a bunch of glitter. I made them with my nieces. So my one niece put beads in hers, which work as well, because I guess the glue thickens the water enough that things kind of float better.
Yeah.
You still have to shake it. I mean, that's the point of a sensory jar, is to shake it. I don't know how well it's coming through, but...
So pretty. I mean, I'm mesmerized, so it must be working.
I know. I'm like, that's pretty cool. We could just watch video of that.
Yeah, pretty much. Just new event, new.
And I used hot glue to like seal the top, so you can kind of see where I've sealed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I catch my husband playing with it sometimes at night.
Yes.
Which is kind of funny.
Oh, maybe I should do that with my glow-in-the-dark glue, and then I could have like a nighttime.
So for a jar this size, you want to fill water up to about here.
Oh.
And then the glue to about like right here.
Okay.
The more glue you have, the bigger the swirls, and you want to like mix it up so it breaks up because the glue will stay in a nice swirl. It'll stay like a line in the water. And you want to break that up a little bit so it has chunks, so it'll spin. And then you dump in as much glitter as you want. And then you fill the water up to about here. So from here to here, you fill the water back up. And then seal it. And there's your sensory jar.
That's
And did
great.
you just use like regular glitter school glue?
I used glitter glue.
Yeah.
Like last time when I had glitter glue, I used the leftover stuff from the last project. Yeah, and then just regular glitter. It recommended a variety, fine and coarse, to give you more texture. It recommends using warm water to start it so that the glue melts a little bit. To better break it up and mix in with the water. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and suggest that you pitch that idea to Sherlanya. Just you shaking the jar for like half an hour.
I'll just keep doing it then.
Perfect. Pretty.
It does eventually settle.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Completely hypnotized.
Wow.
Well, that's the point of a sensory jar, though. It's for young kids.
Help them settle, right? Help them to kind of like sit down and focus on something. And...
I think it's a focuser, or for young children, it's to help their eyes tracking things to look at. Like, you shake it for a 2-year-old if you're holding it, and they can like track and follow things in there. I've seen other ones that have like little toys in them. I've seen a dinosaur one specifically where it had little dinosaurs, had little eggs, little rocks in the glue in the water, and you would just spin around and be like, okay, what's in here? Let's find what's in here. So.
Yeah, I can see how that would be like calming and focusing. That's really cool.
And it's fun to do I did it with my nieces, so they both made jars, and they made a little video of them shaking. So it was really fun.
All right. Well, in the spirit of using things from leftover from projects, I used glue to make a fabric bowl. 2 things. Fabric bowl. And from last week's craft with the sticks, I had a bunch of yarn left over, like just scraps of it. So I also made a little yarn bowl, a little decorative yarn bowl made with glue. And because I figured, I mean, paper mache is a thing. Why not try something similar with fabric? And so I experimented with just glue mixed in with some water. And I didn't have any balloons, so I improvised. I just had some leftover plastic bags from like shopping trips and things like that. And I covered a metal and a glass bowl and wrapped it up in a little plastic bag and put Vaseline all over it. Once I had the consistency that I wanted from the glue mixture, I mixed just regular Elmer's glue with enough water to make it easily paintable. So like a tempera consistency. And I just dipped a bunch of, like I just dunked it into a jar with that mixture and then just smeared it all over the bowl. And, you know, as I untangled the yarn, because I realized that was an unwise thing to do. Now I have a giant lump of multicolored yarn on top of the bowl. I started stringing them out and pulling them out to make a coil type construction. Woo. Well, that's what I have here. And it's definitely not food safe because Elmer's glue, you know, it's not waterproof or anything, but I've put actual yarn in here too to hold my yarn while I'm weaving. That's been very helpful, and it's functional and it's pretty, and my husband said it looked like a layer cake, so win. And the fabric one I'm not as happy with. I mean, maybe Mod Podge will work better with it, but it's a lot flimsier than the yarn, and my suspicion is that the weave of the material is really tight on this, and I'm sure the material is treated with something as well, like lactic acid, which is kind of water repellent. So the glue may not be able to penetrate it as much as, you know, it would with natural cotton and wool fibers. So it's a little bit flimsy, but still might make something, you know, might make a good hat, question mark. But I think I'd like to experiment a little bit more with it and see if I can get a better grip and a better rigidity for the fabric, because I have so many fabric scraps, guys, and I love making collages. I figure if I could use fabric in that, then that would be a win for me, because I'm forever picking off little fibers off my clothing, so it'll be good.
So you use the same template for both, is that right? The same bowl?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I see.
Same bowl.
And then the Vaseline was on the outside just to keep what you were making from sticking to the plastic bag?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I was afraid the plastic, because it came in contact with plastic, which is glue, would tear and rip really badly.
Yep.
I couldn't quite get a nice shape out of, you know, wax paper, for instance. And I, like I said, didn't have a balloon, which is what you would normally use according to the internet for bowls like this, or for little decorative ball lamp pendants. So yeah, the Vaseline made it so much easier to get off, and ended up it took about 24 hours to dry completely, and I set it out in the sunlight and hardened up. So this is, I mean, it's structurally very sound and has been holding my balls of yarn here as I've been moving them around and weaving over the last few days. So super helpful.
So cool looking.
Yeah, it looks really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Is it like kind of like smooth on the inside or outside? Like it looks like it's very textural. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, it is. It is really quite textured. Like let me see if I can get a little.
Oh yeah, I kind
the
of
ridges and the bumps on the outside. That's a little piece of glue that's still stuck to it. And the inside is also pretty textured. I think I could flatten it out a bit more, make it smoother. But I like the texture of the fabric, and I like how, I don't know, three-dimensional it looked, even within three-dimensional object itself. So I think I'll experiment with some, like I have tape yarn, for instance, just really, really flat, looks kind of like a tapeworm, balls of yarn. And I think that might make it look a little bit smoother and neater. It'd be interesting to experiment with different kinds, but I already did, you know, a bunch of different textures in this one. So I like the balance. I like the balance with like the wool and the cotton.
It's interesting to, I like how there's like a piece of yarn. It almost looks like you could pick that up from the inside of the bowl, and it's like, no, it's like part of the bowl. So it's like,
yeah.
Like
little.
Did you put another layer of glue on the fabric one on the inside?
I did, yes. So as I treated it kind of like paper mache, in which like you dip the paper into the glue mixture, and then you just slap it on your surface and you brush it a bit. So that's what I did. So in effect, yeah, I put it on the inside and the outside. So.
I think that would make a fun hat. Like you could totally make the fact that it's kind of flexible. And if you had a glue that would be more water repellent or something, you know, not that it has to be a rain hat. I don't know why I went there, but anyway. You could really it'd be fun. It'd be a fun way to make a costume element.
If you get the right shape, it could be like a shoe cover. Like you can make it for your shoes.
There you go.
A shoe, I like it. Yeah, I'm thinking of like doll accessories, puppet accessories. I mean, I would wear a hat that looks like this, possibly. We'll see. But yeah, I think that'd be really cool in terms of yeah, in terms of doll houses, especially. I like making little accessories for fairy houses and doll houses, so that might be a little fun thing to do too. But yeah, glue.
I like the flexibility. I like how it's like a flexible bowl. I don't know, for something
Mm-hmm.
kind of is appealing to me for some reason.
I don't know. What would you put in it?
Oh gosh, keys.
Key. Perfect. Trinkets.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, you guys, thanks for getting creative with glue. This was super fun, and I love the rabbit holes that you all went down and got to share all of your strange and wonderful associations with the world of glue. And I'm now inspired to go get a glue gun or find the one that we have in the basement. We'll see.
Well, it's always interesting to see how everybody come up with slightly different things and how they do it.
Yeah,
It's kind of great.
yeah. Yeah, I love how the materials are used in different ways. Like when you did the plant project, I made stuff with a plant and you made a plant out of stuff. That was great.
Yeah.
Fantastic seeing the interpretations.
Yeah.
Well, I think next week's theme is printing, possibly getting creative with printing.
Yep. It is.
Cool. Well, then I am going to wish you guys well. Thank you again for all the work that you do, for bringing your creativity and playfulness to the table. It keeps things so fun for me. And I will see you guys later.